All right, everybody, welcome into the AfterSchrock. We're going to give everybody just a moment to get joined up here. All right, I'm going to Google something here. I'm going to Google 7501 South 14th Street, 7501 South 14th Street in Lincoln, not Omaha, Lincoln. All right, there it is. And I'm going to give you a link because I'm a nice guy like that. If you're concerned about our Lincoln Service Center moving, that is where we just signed the lease for this week. So the building is going to get underway here very rapidly. They're talking about maybe having this place ready as soon as June 1st, which from a construction standpoint, that's like what? We're in March. That's less than 3 months. That's amazing. So this building is going to be a little bit different than any other operation that we've ever built at Schrock. It's a different type of real estate. This is a mixed development. So this is kind of like Midtown Crossing, where there's businesses on the lower level of the building and there's apartments and condominiums and stuff above. Apartment complexes surround it. When you turn into the parking lot, it's like a courtyard for the apartment complex. All their parking is underground. So from a business perspective, we'll have lots of front door parking. So you pull off the street, you go into the parking lot, and you park at our front door. And you can come in right from the front door, come into the service center, do your business, whatever. There's windows on both sides, which was kind of weird for us because we're like, well, people are going to get confused and think this is the front door, but they assure me that that won't happen. So, okay. But no, it's a different concept, a different design. The building name is Sierra Suites. So if you're in Lincoln and you're familiar with this, the location there is actually it's about a mile from where we're at now. The nice thing about this, the big deal. Now, of course, this is not the corner of 27th and Pine Lake where we were. So the rent is substantially less expensive at this location than it was where we were at. So that's a plus. That's not really why we moved. We were ready to re-sign the lease where we were at. The reason that we moved is, so we took out a 10-year lease. This is inside baseball stuff. We took out a 10-year lease on that space. Just knock some headphones down. We took a 10-year lease out on that space when we moved in 2008. And so the rate that we had was locked in. Well, as you know, commercial real estate rates have gone up quite a bit over 10 years. And as a result, we have first right of refusal on a renewal at a set rate in our lease. So if we renew, excuse me, if we renew that space at that rate, which let's just say is $28 a square foot, $29 a square foot, they have to give us that rate. Now, on the other hand, if we were not in that space, they would be able to rent that same space today out for nearly $40 a square foot. Jewelry store, workout center, grocery store, anything would, what's 3,000 square feet, it would make a nice little place there for somebody. So the challenge that we had here is Schrock had some needs. We had some needs because the service center we built a decade ago was outdated. It needed to be basically completely gutted and renovated, which was going to represent a huge capital cost for us, especially when we're trying to get the Des Moines Service Center off the ground. We've had our marketing in Des Moines for over a year now. The response has been great. We're getting orders from Des Moines customers. Things like Safe Upgrade, we're getting all kinds of orders from Des Moines for Safe Upgrade, and the surrounding communities throughout Iowa that WHO touches. So it's a pretty good deal. We want to get that service center open, but there's a lot of new systems. This is a particularly diverse service center for us. So any of my shops, I'm within an hour of any of my shops. If somebody calls in sick, if a pipe explodes, if something wacky happens, I can be there in an hour. Okay, and that's me. I can get there in an hour. Then I have a whole team of people who can get there even quicker if they need to. Des Moines is going to be an island. It's going to be 3 hours away from me. So yeah, I can get there in 3 or 4 hours, but if somebody calls me an hour before their shift and says they can't come in because they're sick, I can't get there to open the shop on time. None of my people can get there. It's an island. If we have a situation where we have to clean house and get new employees, I have to transfer people and make them live in Des Moines and not make it sound bad. They have to live in Des Moines basically because driving back and forth, a 6-hour commute daily is almost as long as your actual shift. It's just not feasible for a normal person. So we need the opportunity. We have a lot of artificial intelligence systems under development right now that are going to resolve a lot of these problems, give us the lead time that we need, make sure that products are getting to the Des Moines Service Center efficiently so they always have stock and inventory of things. This is part of our expansion growth. This is what we're going to have to do. So Our current service center in Lincoln was not designed for that. The Papillion Service Center is the newest one, and it was designed for device repair, phone and laptop repair, which we can't do in our current Lincoln Service Center. We're prohibited by lease from doing that. The new one, that will not be the case. So we already know what we need to fix phones and tablets, and we do fix phones and tablets in all of our service centers. I just don't talk about it a lot because we're not supposed to be doing it in Lincoln, and if we make trouble for the landlord, that's never a good thing. So we don't want to do that. So the long and the short of it is we need to build a new service center, and it was going to represent a huge cost. We're talking smart locks, smart lights, smart music systems. We're talking about apps that are monitoring what employees are scheduled to be there, when they show up, if they're in the building, if they're out on an on-site. What on-sites do we have planned? Are they pickups or are they actual work? Are we installing a NAS for one guy, or are we just picking up a computer? We're going to send different techs on those jobs. Pickups and drop-offs are usually our newest guy, the guy that's like, hey, you're the Aaron, you're the gopher. You go get it's a pickup. You're going to go there, ding dong, let me unhook your computer and take it. Or a drop-off, ding dong, let me hook your computer up and make sure everything boots okay. That guy's doing that work. The NAS is going to get hooked up by a senior technician. It's a more complex system. So the new artificial intelligence system will know that, and it will know that we need to have these particular people on staff. So if one person calls in sick, it will be able to give me a heads up and say, hey, the person who is going to do this on-site is sick. Do you want this guy to do that on-site? And if I say no, the system will go through and let the front desk know that they need to call and reschedule an on-site. The front desk may not even know why they need to reschedule. Of course, the system will tell them. But when they come in the morning, they're like, oh, I got an alert. We have to reschedule this guy's on-site. Oh, hey, John's not coming in today. Oh, good thing we rescheduled that on-site, right? So these are the snap decisions that myself or my senior technicians are on staff to make every moment of every day in the other service centers, and that's how we've done it for 20 years. We're not going to have that in Des Moines. We're going to have senior technicians, but they aren't going to have, 8 years of experience at Schrock. They're going to have like 5 weeks of experience in the beginning. And it was the same thing when we opened Omaha. It was the same thing when we opened Papillion, but it was only an hour away. So this new system that we're putting together for the Lincoln Service Center is so state-of-the-art and revolutionary, we would have literally had to gut our entire Lincoln Service Center. So Kruger Development, an amazing development company, they're one of the best in Lincoln. They came to us and said, listen, now, of course, Dave is their sales guy, and Dave's good. So he's like, Schrock, I mean, Thor. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't say Schrock, but like everybody says Schrock. That's okay. That's good marketing. That's what I do that for. Okay. But I think we can save you a lot on rent if we move you to this new Sierra Suites building. Now, I know there's nobody else in the building yet, and there's like apartments above it, and you've never done that before. And yeah, so I get all that. But if we put you in this building, you're going to do really well there and save a lot of money. And I'm reading between the lines saying, if you get us out of the space that we're in, you can re-rent that space to somebody else and charge them $10 a square foot more, and get the first tenant, a toehold tenant, in your new Sierra Suites building that you just constructed. Because the first question that any business asks when they're approached, hey, we got this new bay, you want to come move in? Well, who else is there? Well, and you see at Schrock, we're a traffic draw. People come, they seek us out. So people are going to seek out Schrock Innovations because you don't drive around with your broken computers all the time. You wait until something is broken, and then you look for Schrock. Like, where are they? And so as a result, all the neighboring businesses, they get noticed when people come to Schrock. So it's one of those toehold things. When we moved into the business park that we're in, south of it was a cornfield. That's all it was. And so and we faced the cornfield. We were on the poor side of the building. On the back side, we were facing the cornfield. Everybody knew where that cornfield was. So, so it worked out. So basically, you can check it out. That new location is going to be coming up here. We're going to have some crazy specials coming up for this to launch this grand opening. This is going to be a weird kind of special, though, because they're going to be that service center only kind of specials. Very similar to what we're going to do when we do our Des Moines grand opening coming up in the future here. So it's going to be come to this service center and get the discounts. Can you order online? No. The whole purpose of the sale is to make people come to the service center so they know where the service center is at the next time they need to come. So free giveaway stuff. There's going to be giveaways. There's going to be prizes. There's going to be promotional items. There's going to be probably a free computer or two given away. yeah, you name it, we're going to be giving it away just to get everybody who is a previous customer of our Lincoln Service Center. We've got over 15,000 of them to come to the new Lincoln Service Center just to look at it, just to see it. The lovely Kimberly might even make cookies. That's a lot of cookies. But if you've ever had her cookies, if you're diabetic, just don't show up because, or bring your insulin. BYOI. All right, let's jump into questions. Who's got questions for me this morning? Eileen, we're happy to be expanding out there too. We just want to make sure we do it right. Expanding to Des Moines, we want to make sure we do it right. The last thing we want to do, a lot of Schrock history here, many of you don't know this, but our first Omaha Service Center failed. We literally were open for about a year and a half. We had a radio show back in the day. It was on Magic 590, KOMJ, which as those of you in the Omaha area will recognize the news stories for KOMJ. If that sounds familiar, that's because it was the ghost pirate radio station. So KOMJ was like, it was like the Barry Manilow station. And it was like people would just turn it on and leave it on all day. And it was just background noise. But we had a radio show there and it did pretty well. You know, we launched the Omaha Service Center. It was a low rent district service center. We did all the build out ourselves. It looked like crap, but I'm not a woodworker or a stainer or a carpet cleaner or anything like that. But we did a pretty good amount of business in that service center with the KOMJ show. But then they switched formats. They became Big Sports 590. And when they did that, the KOMJ signal was still broadcasting, but nobody knew who owned the station. So it just broadcast. It was a ghost station. It was a robo station. It was on Robo Pilot. You could tune in and listen to it, but nobody knew who was running it. And so like if it's getting all these like FCC fines, and FCC would send the fines over to one company and they're like, we don't own the station. And they'd send it to another company and they'd say, we don't own that station. And like, who owns this? Somebody's paying the electricity to keep that tower broadcasting. Who is doing it? And nobody knew who it was. So I don't even know how that, I know they're not broadcasting anymore, but it all ended. But the first Omaha Service Center, when they flipped formats, we tried moving our show to a different station in town here in Omaha because we tried to get it on KFAB at the time, which is where we're at now. But, you know, we weren't quite ready. Let's put it that way. The show definitely needed a co-host to keep it moving. At times, transitions were awkward. You know, I hadn't been doing it long, you know, and so this was, you know, I may be doing it 3 or 4 years. So definitely better than the average person walking in off the street to do a radio show. But any of you who've ever done radio in the past know the stuff that happens behind the scenes to make a radio show happen. It's not something you just walk in the door and do. And I'm not even, I wouldn't consider myself a professional. I'm not like Scott Voorhees. Scott Voorhees is an amazing broadcaster. Chris Baker is an amazing broadcaster. They put me to shame. I can hang with them for a little bit, but no, they get paid to do this every day. I just do it on the weekends for fun, right? I have a lot of fun doing the show, if you couldn't tell. So when they flip formats, we didn't have any advertising in Omaha, and Omaha is a tough place to advertise in. It's very, very different from Lincoln. And as a result, the service center income dwindled and dwindled and dwindled. The dilemma we had was, well, we had sold computers in Omaha, and we promised warranty service on those computers in Omaha. And we knew we were going to come back to Omaha at some point. So do we really want to burn the customers, the early adopters, the ones who came to us first, by rolling up our shop, the one thing we said we would never do, and not being here to provide warranty support? We didn't want to do that. So we got an even lower rent district store, if you can believe that. We kept a minimal staffing there. I think we put coders in there, web developers. So your computer was literally being checked in by a web developer because we had no technicians on site. And then the computers would be transported to the Lincoln Service Center where they were worked. I would transport them every day. But we wanted to keep that service center available so that, you know, our customers knew even when things got tough, we would stick with them. So then in 2010, we launched the new Omaha Service Center, and all that sacrifice paid off because our customers knew that Schrock was going to be there for them when it mattered, because we always had been, even when it wasn't easy, even when they had to move with us 2 times. Because, you know, whenever anyone tells you, hey, I've got a lot of IT work that needs to be done in my office, and I've got some extra space, you want some free rent, that sounds really good. Business lesson number 4279. Once the IT work is done and everything is running smoothly, they don't want to give you free rent anymore, so they kick you out. then you move a second time in a 7-month period. So don't make that mistake. That was a bad mistake. So anyway, so this new service center in Lincoln is we want to make sure this one is done right. And the Des Moines Service Center, we want to make sure it is done right as well, because we don't want to we learned the lesson the hard way that if you don't walk in the door fully prepared or as prepared as you can possibly be, your odds of failure go way up. And the last thing we want to do is open up in Des Moines and then, have a situation where I have to drive back and forth every day to make sure things are operating fully. We've actually we're working with some new cameras in the service centers right now that allow me to pop in literally at any station in the company and see what's going on and listen and even talk back if I have to. So it's pretty cool stuff. So we're working on some neat tools for you. All right. Good morning, Thomas. You're gonna need an airplane, the Schrock Force One. Oh, Thomas, the stories we could tell. All right. You remember back when Geek Squad was parachuting Volkswagen bugs out of the sky when they first launched Geek Squad? Geek Squad was like a small, I shouldn't say small, they were maybe Schrock size or a little smaller computer repair company in Minneapolis. They had their own legend. They got in trouble because they dressed up their cars to look like police cars, and the police department actually fined them because their cars looked too much like police cars. So they had to go back and make them look a little less police car-y. But so then Best Buy wanted to have this tech help desk presence, and rather than reinventing a whole brand, they said, let's go buy the Geek Squad. So they bought the Geek Squad. They took the owner of the Geek Squad in, made him the chief inspector of the Geek Squad or whatever, and that's the Geek Squad. That's where it came from. Well, their first commercial, their whole thing was now Best Buy offers in-home computer help. And so literally they were parajumping Volkswagen Beetles out of an airplane. They were landing on the ground and then driving to the customer's house where they were there just in the nick of time to provide support. I'm a marketing guy, sometimes before reality. So that's where all good marketing starts anyway. And then you have to have the engineers bring you back down. So I'm like, wow, wouldn't that be cool if we could actually fly to a customer's driveway? And someone was like, yeah, you can be like James Bond, get yourself one of them quadricopters and fly over them. Like, what's a quadricopter? And who's James Bond? No, I'm just kidding. I know who James Bond was. I didn't see that movie. But quadricopter, interesting. I look it up. Sure enough, a quadricopter is a low-power, ultralight aircraft that does not require a license to pilot, does not have any air restrictions throughout most municipalities, can take off in about a city block typically, and can land literally in a driveway. If your engine fails in flight, you literally float to the ground again. It's a controlled descent, so no one's going to die. We might actually get insurance for this thing. Well, how do we build it? Where do you go to buy a quadricopter? Buy quadricopter, Google. Oh gosh, quadricopters are 20 grand? We don't have 20 grand. What if we could build our own quadricopter? Famous last words, Wright brothers kind of stuff. Build a quadricopter. Sure enough, here are the plans. You can buy the plans for $100. I can afford $100, so hey, let's do that. So we buy the plans for the quadricopter. It turns out the only parts you really have to buy pre-made are the blades, because they're blades. They're like actual helicopter style. They're pitched differently, but they're blades. And you have to buy a motor, right? The rest of the thing you can build from a lawn chair. An actual woven strap lawn chair. You put a big old fan behind you, like a fan boat fan. And you see people doing this with parachutes sometimes, like parasailing like that. But you get this blade, and what happens is your forward momentum turns the blade, and the blade creates lift. So as long as the fan is propelling you forward, you have lift. You want to go higher, you go faster. You want to go lower, you go slower. Very simple flight system. No, there's no stabilizer blades because there's no rotating above you. It's all behind you and all pushing you forward. Wow. If your fan goes out, your forward momentum slows, right? So you get less lift, but you're still moving forward so that you just kind of coast to the ground. Yay. And as long as, you have to land somewhere. The thing's not heavy. It's not going to crack driveways. Perfect, right? Yeah, we never built it. It was one of those things like my employees were like, we're not going to fly that. I'm like, come on, who does want to fly this thing? I want to fly this thing. Have at it, Thor. And I was like, yeah, okay, we're going to build this thing. Come on, guys, let's get the stuff. We can get a lot of this stuff at Menards. Let's go. I'm not going to build that thing because if somebody dies in it, then I kind of built it. Geez, you kids think ahead way too much. Come on. So yes, Schrock Force 1 did almost come to pass. It was a quadricopter. Maximum speed was about 50 miles an hour. So it wouldn't be practical for the Des Moines solution because you could honestly drive there faster. But imagine how many customers would call us to their house just to see the quadricopter land in their driveway. Ooh, boom, 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 boom. Hey, we're here to fix the computer. Oh yeah, I just had to reboot it. It wasn't plugged in. That was so weird, right? Okay, see you later. And then how do you put the fan in reverse, like, and it blows your hair? I mean, how do you back out of the driveway? Maybe you have to turn and land like facing out so you can turn on your fan. It's gonna blow rocks and stuff into people's windows. These are the things we never thought about. Pull out of the driveway onto the street, and you need about a city block to get your speed up, and then woo, just disappear and don't clip those power lines. Schrock Force 1. Hi, Carolyn. How are you? You're giving up eating at Cowboy Chicken? Cowboy Chicken closed. Cowboy Chicken is gone. They are gone. They are no longer located next to the Lincoln Service Center. Cowboy Chicken failed. Teriyaki Madness got a new owner. Wasn't doing so hot, I don't think. It got a new owner. There's another restaurant in there in that strip that failed too. But that strip is basically, it was a really good one actually. There was like a farm to table burger joint. Where they had their own cows basically, and they were slaughtering their cows and making ground beef, and it was just delicious burgers. But unfortunately, they failed to pay their rent. I think there was an eviction notice stuck to the glass, and they keep saying on their Facebook page they're opening in North Lincoln. The rent is considerably cheaper in North Lincoln than it is in South Lincoln. I haven't seen them reopen yet though. But yeah, I mean, so they've had some restaurants go in there and fail and come out. Other stuff in that strip, there's a cell phone repair store. There's a Sprint store where you can buy a new cell phone. Lots of restaurants, Chipotle, there's a Starbucks, things like that. Things that are like high margin restaurant or chain restaurant kind of stuff that do pretty well in there. That's why Cowboy Chicken went there. But Lincoln has been inundated. I mean, they've got Cane's now. They've got Slim Chickens. They got Cowboy Chicken. I mean, there's only so much chicken a person can eat, right? So yeah, that's it is what it is. All right, what else do we got here? All right. When you get the Schrock Force 1, you could open a shop in Roundabout. I could, and we could give away like rides in Schrock Force 1 on the air. We'd be like, yep, and today's winner gets your choice of a $25 gift certificate or a free ride to Round Rock, Texas on Schrock Force 1 this Friday. That'd be great. Okay. Yeah, predecessors to the helicopter. Google Maps lied to me? Well, Google Maps, most businesses tend to stop updating their Google Maps when they go out of business. Just because they don't care anymore because they're out of business. But yeah, Slim Chicken's closed down over there. But yeah, so basically the new shop, you can look, if you click on that link up above for the, I'll post it again just in case you can't scroll up to it. This is the link for the new location that we're going to be at in Lincoln. And when you first load this up, it looks like there's a tree and a pole there. So what you can do is you can actually grab that. You can click on the satellite image or the street view image, and you see the tree and the pole right there. And so now I'm oriented on the tree and the pole. And if you click and drag left, you'll see there's 14th Street. We're on the left side as far as this view goes of 14th Street. So you'll see us right there on 14th Street at 7501. And you can see if you zoom down toward the building, this hasn't been remapped in a while. All this building is complete now. All the glass is in, all the windows are in, everything looks good. So the whole parking lot is a one-way trip around the building to get in and out. So that's why they said no one's going to suspect your front doors on the back side because they'll have to go through conniptions to get to the back door. So they'll just go to the front door because it's easier. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. So look forward to that. It's going to be a pretty state-of-the-art, high-tech, low-power efficiency kind of place. It's going to be pretty cool. All right, so let me think if there's anything else going on. We got our new data recovery toy, Schrock Safe Upgrade. There are 48 of you watching right now. You guys are probably some of my 48 most dedicated viewers because the AfterSchrock actually pulls in heavier viewership than the regular show. I don't know what I do that different. I don't talk about computer problems. But that's what the whole compute this is about. I have to do that. So during the AfterSchrock, we talk about silly stuff like quadricopters and fun stuff, I guess. I don't know. But Schrock Safe Upgrade, guys, is something you definitely want to take a look at. Let me get you a link for it. Let's see. This is the April 2019 Schrock Safe Upgrade. And gosh, we got to get user-friendly link for this thing. That's an ugly. Google found it, but it was an ugly old link. All right, we got to fix that. So here we go. Boom, boom. There's a link. You can click on that link. You go right there. Right now, we started the show with like 380 of these things in stock, and now we're down to 364. So they're moving pretty quick, guys. So if you have not picked up your copy of Schrock Safe Upgrade, I'd encourage you to do that. Because you're watching the AfterSchrock, not reading the comments, not being a part of the show, there's a promo code that we sent out to people who just purchased last time. These are only people who bought before. They're the only people who will get the promo code because we reward you for continuing to purchase it. But the promo code for 10% off is Save April. Now save like with a V, like save me. Or no, wait, is it safe? It's either Safe April or Save April. I don't have the email in front of me. Is it Safe April? Try them both. Safe or Save April. No space in there altogether. And good thing I didn't type it because I don't really know what it is. It's Save or Safe April. We were joking about it. Sounds the same. We'll have to say. And Alfonso is, of course, from Venezuela. So when I'm telling him, he's like, "You mean Safe April or Save April?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, how do you say it in Spanish, Alfonso?" I'll just tell you in Spanish. I don't know. But if he knew what I was saying, he wouldn't need me to say it in Spanish. I really need to start learning Spanish. Not just because of Alfonso, but I mean, it seems like more and more people in my life speak Spanish natively anymore, and I don't understand what the deal is with that. But I don't. I mean, I can say water, and I know some popular children's games like Uno, but that's about it. It was kind of funny. All right. Trigger warning, completely racially insensitive joke coming. So, Mark works in Schrock Interactive. Alfonso runs Schrock Interactive, and I was there, in the data recovery lab, which is right next to Schrock Interactive. And we're talking about Alfonso being from Venezuela and all the stuff that's going on in Venezuela. It really gives you a perspective on it, being able to talk to somebody who still has family living in Venezuela. His parents still live there, and so he knows what's going on. Like he knows what's going on the ground, and things on the news. They're like, "Oh, there are people in the streets." And Alfonso's like, "The people are always in the streets. Don't worry about it. They're always marching about something stupid. This is nothing." When the people start fighting with the police, that's when you got to watch, because the Venezuelans don't fight with police. You just don't do it. And if they start doing it, things are bad. So you get these kind of insights into Venezuelan culture that you just don't get in the mass media, because those reporters are not actually from Venezuela. They just kind of parachute in and they're like, "Hey, we're in Caracas and we're going to get arrested." So Alfonso I think he did something and he did it really well. And I was like, "Perfectamundo." And he laughed because it was like, that's not real Spanish, right? And so he just was like, "Oh my gosh, Thor." And Mark was like, he goes, "I feel terrible because like my uncle, when I was a little boy, told me that you just if you knew some Spanish but not enough, you could just put L in front of anything and O on the end of it. And if you wanted to say like a tablet, it would be el tableto. And that's Spanish for the tablet." And Alfonso was like, "Come on." And I'm like, "Come on, Alfonso, there's got to be something that people who speak Spanish say, like, if you want to speak English like an American, just have to put this on the word. And then there's something that makes you sound like it's English." And he was like, "Actually there is." He goes, "Shun." Apparently there's no shun in Spanish words. So as long as you put shun on the end of any word, because you think we have a lot of words that end in S-I-O-N or T-I-O-N. So if you put shun on the end of the word, then you're speaking American. So it happens on both sides of the language barrier. I've never had people who don't speak English come up to me and be like, el aquashun. Aguashun? Does that mean water in English? I don't know. The aguashun. But according to Alfonso, that's what we sound like when we do things like that in Spanish. So fun times there. But let's see. I was number 499 buyer. Wow, Mary, you were like the number 2 person? Hearing behind the scenes stories is cool. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that happens behind the scenes over at Schrock. Things we try, things we think about trying, things that don't work so well. The new cameras that I got for Schrock are actually working really well. If you're thinking about putting cameras up, either in a business or cameras in the house are kind of creepy still, but if you were thinking about it, there's a camera. Let me see if I can link to it here. Let's see. Amazon Wise pan camera. These are nice because they pan and tilt. There's an app that you can install the Wyze app, WYZE. You install this on your phone. These are HD cameras. They work really well, actually. It allows you to see the camera, and you can see what's going on. You can pinch and zoom. You can obviously turn the camera left, right. You can turn the lens up and down, do all that kind of stuff. Also, it allows you to, there we go. It allows you to hear what's going on. The microphone is really bad. Just be warned, it's bad. You're not going to be able, you can hear if someone's talking, but you can't necessarily, unless they're talking to the camera, you can't really hear what they're saying in the background. But you can also talk from the camera to the person. And again, the volume is not very loud. If it's a noisy environment, it's not going to work very well. If they have headphones on, they're not going to hear you. So they actually work really well. And the main reason I like them is because they're $40. They don't require any cloud storage. They have a little SD card slot in the camera if you really want to. You can set up event recording with push notifications to your phone. So like in a data center, when I don't expect anyone to be moving in there, if somebody's moving in there, that's a problem. The camera will alert my phone that someone was moving in my data center. And then it'll record a clip of that, just like a 3-second clip that I can go back and watch and see who it was that was moving in the data center. And the cameras are great. They're $40. It's amazing. So if you're looking for some cameras, I would recommend these. I'm installing them in all the service centers, and I and the lovely Kimberly are actually the only ones that have access to the app to watch them. So if you see the camera, you can set them up to motion track, so they'll move around on their own, like to track motion, or you can set them up to be static, and then you can turn them manually. So if you come into one of the service centers and you see one of the cameras and you see it go, I could be watching you like a creeper. No, I don't have time to watch the cameras all the time, but it is nice, for example, when I look at my online work order system and see that, for example, the Papillion Service Center has been incredibly slow this week. If you're in Papillion and you have maintenance checkup certificate coupons, bring them in. Guys, we're dead. We're looking for work. Omaha's good. Lincoln's good. Papillion has just been a slog, just nothing to do. So they're building new computers at record time. We're getting them done early, which is great. Basically, so I installed the cameras in Papillion first. We're getting new TVs put up in Papillion as well. We're getting a lot of behind-the-scenes work done there. Tested them out in Papillion. They were great. I've ordered them for the other service centers. We're going to have them in next week. They literally take about 5 minutes to install. 5 minutes, and you're up and running. So they're pretty cool. It's pretty neat stuff. So if you're looking for a camera, they didn't pay me to do this. I should charge for this kind of stuff. But no, they didn't pay me. I'm not getting paid anything by anybody. Is that a problem? I should be getting paid by somebody. One of the things, all right, here's the thing. You guys have connections, right? I have often thought, some of the stuff that happens at Schrock, some of the customers that we see, we get some really good people. And just like any other business, we get some crazy people. Like crazy people, like there's black vans following me and I need you to scramble my Wi-Fi signal kind of people. And they pay us to do these crazy security things for them, and we're like, nobody's following you. There's a word for it. They're called targeted individuals, people who believe that someone is after them. And I suppose, you're only paranoid unless it's true, right? So maybe somebody is after them. I don't know, but they come in and they ask us to encrypt their stuff and do everything. And we go through and we do all that stuff. But no, it's the stuff behind the scenes at Schrock that we get sometimes. And the opening of the new service centers and the planning that has to go into that, and the fights with the contractors. Do you know that there are 28 leaf imprints in the front room floor of the Papillion Service Center? 28 imprints where leaves fell on the wet concrete. The concrete hardened like a fossil, and then the leaf decomposed. And when they buffed our floor down, it would have been logical common sense to me that if there's a leaf imprint in the floor, and we're getting a mirrored finished floor, we should buff it all the way down. But no, they didn't do that. So now the reason I know there are 28 is because I was so angry about it when it happened. I literally went through the service center and counted, and I'm like, what, we have a kids game here now? Like, put the menu down in front of the kid at the table. Like, how many leaves can you find on the floor? Walk around the whole service center and see how many you can find. How many are in the back room? You'll never know that. Oh my gosh, I was so angry about that. So all those things that happen in the construction process and the conversations, and when they the Papillion, we have this beautiful Papillion Service Center. Everything is nice and fancy in there, and then in the bathroom they put up like that truck stop plastic, like they're gonna hose off the wall after the trucker's done in there. What is that? That is the ugliest garbage I've ever seen. Why did you put that in my bathroom? Take it down. Well, we PL 400 and it's glued to the wall. If we take it down, we got to replace the drywall. Get to cracking, son. You got work to do. Thor, come on, be reasonable. Oh my gosh. So yeah, we're still stuck with the plastic because I had to be reasonable. But yeah, I mean, there are some in the moment stories that happen. Things with employees. I came in the other day to one of my service centers, and all of my employees were wearing non-Schrock shirts. And I'm like, what do you guys think is going on in here? Wear the Schrock shirt. I give you the Schrock shirt. You don't even have to buy them. Wear the Schrock shirt. So then I come in the next day and they're wearing the Schrock shirts and they're all wearing coats or hoodies over the Schrock. No. If you're cold, you can wear a long sleeve shirt under your Schrock shirt and put your Schrock shirt on over. Ding. Oh boy, fun stuff. So yeah, we literally could say, I think we could do a reality show. You could cam all 3 of the service centers, or 4 once we have Des Moines up. And then you could have like the Thor cam, because I move between the service centers and I'm usually like the WTF guy, like, why is this happening like this? Oh my gosh. Or like I'm the guy that's bored in the back. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait for the USB stabilizer. I've got a flash drive and data recovery. Literally, it runs for like 40 kilobytes, and I go, plug. I have like an extension cord from the system, a USB cord. Unplug, plug, 40 kilobytes. Unplug, plug, 40 kilobytes. Unplug, plug. Literally, you could make a montage. I sat in a chair, and I was literally half asleep, just plugging and unplugging. And Mark came over and goes, Thor, are you okay? Because they joke in the data recovery lab, it's a square, it's a box basically, and I look like a tiger in a cage when I'm in there because I'm always pacing around. I'm like going in, like at the zoo, you see the tiger going in a circle in its cage. I was sitting in a chair like half asleep, unplug, plug. I just had a rhythm going, and I was like unconsciously doing it. And Mark's like, are you okay, Thor? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm having a good time. Hey, you want to do this for a little while? Once I get the USB stabilizer, though, I'll be able to plug it in, and it'll unplug and plug for me, which is what it's one of the things it does. So I think one of you guys has to know somebody at a production company somewhere, because I've looked into it. It's not so hard. You have to make, they call it a sizzle reel. So you make a sizzle reel where you basically cam everything and record stuff, and then you put it together, you produce it together into like a, I don't know, like a promo tape, a sizzle reel. And then when there's these big events, when all these TV stations and everything, I heard someone the other day say, I want a TV show, but, I'm not picky. I'll take a Netflix series. Heck, I would even take a Hulu series. It's like, so, there's got to be somebody out there who's looking for some cheap TV, because we don't need to be paid a lot, because we do this stuff every day anyway. Literally, I had a technician banging his head on the desk the other day. He was literally like banging his head on the desk, like bonk, bonk. And it's like, he didn't know I saw him do that. Now he does. But anyway, the cameras are great. So, maybe these cameras were installed. But no, I mean, somebody's going to have to put this together, and we could have a reality show. I mean, people watch The Curse of Oak Island. I watch that show, and I'm disappointed at the end of every show because they never find the treasure. They just find more questions. It's very frustrating. People watch The Kardashians. I mean, come on. I mean, I know I don't look all that, but, we could be fun. It's like we're hiring new employees, and oh my gosh, imagine hiring new employees, just filming what you have to go through when you're reading. We got an application, no joke, we got an application from an entertainment dancer from the Spearmint Rhino Gentlemen's Club in Council Bluffs, applied to be our front desk. And on her application, she talked about her knowledge of psychology to achieve customer satisfaction. She's smart. I mean, that's one way to say it, And I'm going through the applications at my kitchen counter, and Kyle was doing these interviews, and I'm just like, hey, honey, look at what we got here, And she's like, you're not interviewing her. Why? No, Thor. No, you are not. Of course I'm not. So I'm like, let's schedule this interview for Kyle. And she's not qualified for the job in any way. But it'll be like, okay, we have applicant 1 who's really qualified, applicant 2 who's really qualified, applicant 3 who is in no way qualified but is an exotic dancer at the Blue Spearmint Rhino. What? Why is she's coming in at 2? Well, I can't cancel it now. Thor, what's going on? Nothing, Kyle. Just thought you need a comedic break in your day there. Like, yay. So yeah, it's we get some moments at Schrock. So if any of you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, a brother or an uncle in the industry or the business, let them know there's a hidden gem of content over here at Schrock Innovations. Because data recovery, tech stuff gets bored, we can do some TV stuff instead. All right. I'm the boss. I don't have to be reasonable. Yeah, that's absolutely true, Thomas. However, when you're the boss and you're unreasonable, it tends to directly impact the financial projection of your company. So sure, Thor, I think the conversation went like, we can tear the plastic down, we can take the drywall out, we can replace the drywall. We have to bring the drywallers back in, the painters back in. It'll cost you about $7,000 to have that redone. Do you want to redo it? It's a bathroom, Thor. No one should spend a lot of time in there. It's not even a customer accessible bathroom, Thor. Oh, I know. Fine. Leave the plastic on the wall. But hang a picture or something. Class it up a little bit so that people know we don't just spray off the walls at night. All right. Oh, yeah, Pawn Stars. I mean, come on. If you can make Pawn Stars into a reality show, and it's an interesting show. Like, I've watched Pawn Stars or American Pickers, of all the things. Hey, I'm going to film myself going to garage sales and digging through junk in really disgusting environments to find like the two things I want to buy. And I'm going to bundle them together because, you know, I'm the bundler. I mean, if you can make a show out of that concept, come on. We got this. All right. The dancer was looking for a secure upgrade. I think that's what my wife was afraid of. Yeah. So yeah, she actually did not get interviewed, unfortunately, for the job because Kyle didn't catch that. But anyway, shouldn't have cost you anything if they did it without your okay. That's the there's the trick. General Contracting Lesson 101. The blueprint has many sub-blueprints in it. There's the blueprint for the design of the walls, which I approved. There's the blueprint for the electrical, which I approved. I didn't see much sense in looking into the plumbing blueprint myself. You're going to put a sink and a toilet. They're on the wall drawing. There you go. So I don't need to look into that. Okay. Yeah, it didn't occur to me to ask what the finish blueprint looked like, the finishes, because we're going to paint the walls blue. They're blue and they're black. It's not rocket science. The walls are blue up to 11 feet, and 11 feet and higher are black. The ceiling, black. All the wires in the ceiling, black. All the ductwork in the ceiling, black. I want it to all disappear and make the sound in the ceiling, okay? That's it. It's going to be black. So the bathroom ceiling is going to have a drop ceiling in it because you have to have like a water heater and stuff mounted up there, and it has to be accessible. So there will be a drop ceiling in the bathroom below 11 feet. So the walls will be blue. Ta-da! There's a giant window in the bathroom, so we're going to have to like cover that with like some of that, I don't know. It's just plastic that goes over the window that obfuscates the view, makes it more opaque, lets the light in, but you can't see through it. So anyway, all that stuff is done. That didn't occur to me that they were going to cover the walls in plastic. Yeah. Also didn't occur to me that I had to specify that they had to finish the door, like sand it and seal it, because a bathroom door gets water on it. Like you hit the doorknob with a wet hand, the water hits the door, it'll ruin the door. All right, so I've got to get rolling here, guys. We're up to 43 minutes. The aftershock again, almost as long as the show. I don't get it. The folks probably want their donuts. My phone is vibrating. Let me see what's going on here. Last call for questions, guys. It's probably my wife warning me not to say stupid stuff that I've already said. Yep. That's pretty much it. All right, so last call for questions. I got to wrap it up, guys, and head on home. I got a closet to build today. We went down to IKEA, and because if you've ever looked at closet systems, so go over, if you're bored, go to the Container Store and price out a closet system for a good size, like a walk-in closet. They're like $20,000, $30,000 for a closet system. Literally, stuff you're going to hang clothes on, little drawers. $30,000. I didn't spend $30,000 on a kitchen. How am I going to spend 30 grand on a closet? No, ain't going to happen. Now we can go down to IKEA and we can spend $3 grand on all the same cool stuff, except you have to assemble it yourself. Furniture builder Thor reporting for duty. All right, so I got to get going because I got closets to build. All right, general contractor did a bad job explaining it to you then. That's because there was some confusion about who the general contractor reported to. The general contractor reported to the developer, and the developer communicated with me. The general contractor only communicated with me when I was a pain in the tuchus. like when there were leaves in the concrete. And I called the developer, and the developer said, call the contractor. And then I started interacting more with the contractor. And then finally the contractor's like, this is not in the blueprint. And I guess he thought I was being a jerk because I was asking for stuff that wasn't in the blueprint. And they also, what they didn't appreciate was the fact that we weren't using their people for the bid. So this particular developer for this particular service center does a lot of real estate development. He's got a go-to company here in Omaha that always, every job I've ever seen him do is behind schedule. Our job was behind schedule. The costs were huge. We're talking like $2,000 to tack the rubber baseboard on the wall. What? $2,000 to get a glue gun and go? Maybe this is why the closet systems cost $30,000. And then you just stick it on the wall? That's $2,000 worth? Come on. And so then I was in the service center while these guys were doing that, and all they did the whole time they were there was talk about how no one wants to pay a good union wage anymore, and nobody wants to pay. I'm paying you $2,000 to glue stuff to my wall, and you think that's unreasonable? I could have paid one of my employees off the clock on a contract basis $50, and they'd have done it all for me in an afternoon. And they would have done it quietly, without complaining. Come on. So anyway, yeah, construction is fun. But yeah, that's we weren't using all the people that the developer was using. So we had our own painter come in, for example, who wasn't their painter, because our painter could do it for $10,000 less than the painter they wanted to use. So there was definitely some cost inflation because they knew they had a golden goose with this particular developer, and that he never questioned the cost of anything. So the prices kind of creeped, and Thor got in there, and Thor said, whoa, 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 they're paying the first $10,000 to cost, but after that, it's on us. So we got to make sure the whole job stays below $10,000. Thank you very much. And the developer's like, that's not possible. Or the general contractor, that's not possible. And I'm like, hold my coffee. Here we go. We're painting it ourselves. Don't make me glue that trim on myself. If you could have saved a little money by not putting the plastic on the wall in the bathroom, just saying. All right, guys, got to get rolling. Thanks for joining us for the AfterSchrock. We appreciate you being Schrock customers. Be sure to check out Schrock Safe Upgrade. As of right now, there were 364 last time I mentioned it, and there are now 363. So one of you bought one. Make sure you get one for each computer that you plan on upgrading, or you want any computer that's important to you, you should have a safe upgrade for. If you don't really care, just let it go, okay? But yeah, so 363 left in stock, and we'll see you again next Sunday. Have a great day, guys.